The Xbox meltdown is absolutely insane. Needless to say, I love it.
Play the games you want with the people you want anywhere you want. That's why we're investing in our next generation hardware lineup. The next generation of Xbox is coming to life, and this is just the beginning.
Is it though? Is it? The Xbox brand currently is on fire, and
Well, it's a beginning for something, that's for sure, but I don't think it's the beginning for what they want.
it's been that way for a while now. This isn't a new problem that just emerged this last week. This goes back to the Xbox One days, in which Phil Spencer even admitted that that was the console generation that they could not afford to lose, and in fact, they just got destroyed by competition. And here we are again in this next generation with the Xbox Series X/S, and things have not improved at all. See, Xbox made the investment. They wanted to build up Game Pass, so they bought a number of studios, Obsidian, In Exile, the devs behind We Happy Few, and a bunch of other smaller devs. Then they made the big one, with Activision Blizzard King spending $70 billion. That created a hole,
Man, We Happy Few was such a disappointment.
problem for Xbox, because Microsoft wants to see profit. They want to see the growth that was envisioned by Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, that Xbox leadership team that was promised, and it clearly has not happened. And that's why the changes that have happened this week reflect the danger that currently faces this platform, and why I very much question if Xbox will be around in the coming years. That perspective is given further weight because of the fact that Microsoft doesn't care about gaming like they once did. Their focus is on AI. So with the lack of growth, the costs that are associated with running Xbox.
To be fair, Microsoft bought Xbox not relatively that long ago. Microsoft bought Xbox also most likely because they thought that this can be breakthroughs in AIs. Because, well, what's the easiest way to actually get data from people? By targeting the people who are online a lot. That's right. And well, I mean, Facebook is probably not going to share their Farmville statistics with you too much. Also, that's not really a great sample size. So, how about Xbox? Kind of does the trick, I think.
As a platform, you can understand why Microsoft is putting pressure on this platform. And unfortunately, during the FTC trial, Microsoft said that the burden would never be passed on to consumers because of the Activision Blizzard $70 billion deal. We just know that was a total lie. And that has been confirmed this week, especially with.
By the way, I absolutely love how you can lie in these hearings and there's absolutely no repercussions after it. That's a 10 out of 10.
These Game Pass changes, which reporting from Bloomberg indicates that is linked directly to that deal. So yes, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, that was the big thing, went up 50% in price, but there was a number of other changes within this announcement that Microsoft really did not want to mention. Instead, they wanted to focus on the upgrades you're getting, your new Fortnite subscription, and Ubisoft Plus.
God almighty, what would I do without my Fortnite subscription? I don't even play, I have never played Fortnite.
Classics, all stuff that nobody was really asking for, but they described it as the feedback that they were receiving. And based on their response to the outrage right now, they're continuing that, saying price increases are never fun for anybody. We're listening to the feedback of players. Clearly they were not with this massive increase in price, but other reporting has also indicated more stuff is on the way, including the introduction of ads into premium.
I mean, the fact that they're saying price increases are not fun for anybody while increasing the prices kind of means that the price increase is at least fun for them.
Console gaming, I get it, it's free Xbox Cloud gaming, but this is a slippery slope. Horse armor was once just horse armor. It turned into the microtransaction hell that exists today. There's always a starting point in ads. Yes, we've had billboard ads in games.
Wait, people blame horse armor. Horse armor was not actually the thing that sparked all of this. FIFA, like 50 billion years ago in the time of the dinosaurs, had already loot boxes, if you did not know. So that actually sparked everything. Or was it FIFA or was it something else? In any case, it was one of the sports games that actually sparked loot boxes and microtransaction hell. Everyone likes to point at horse armor, But I mean, horse armor did not actually create the situation, as hilariously stupid as that sounds.
Games, but this just could get so much worse with its implementation into pause screens and all of that in gaming. But yeah, Microsoft has also not exactly been consistent with their messaging surrounding the Game Pass changes. They have now recently said that it's changing market conditions, aka they're trying to blame it on the tariffs, inflation, and all of that. That's their new little slogan of saying, oh, this is why we had to go $10 up. Nobody's
Blame someone else. Oh, you know the thing that's online and has no physical components? Yeah, that had to be increased in price by 50% because tariffs. Tariffs. Yep, I believe that.
Believing it, and they right now are trying to figure out how to message to the community gamers, but right now I think everybody is of the assessment that they cannot be trusted. Xbox, Microsoft, nobody's believing what they're trying to sell. And right now there has been mass cancellations of Game Pass, many moving away from Xbox as a platform, and the desperation is on Xbox, the console front page. As you can see, this individual says, I like how after canceling my Game Pass Ultimate, my home screen gets littered with ads asking me to come back. No thanks.
Look at this. You've got more with Game Pass Ultimate, the biggest games playable from day one. This is another Game Pass thing. Available with Game Pass, Hogwarts Legacy, Ultimate, and Premium. The Elder Scrolls Online, a bunch of this stuff, and these are just games, I guess. All probably associated with Game Pass. Jesus Christ.
And look, the rumors, the leaks, and everything surrounding Xbox this last week and really the last year, it's just been constant negative.
By the way, the situation with the games on Xbox is so fucking poor. They actually put Star Trek Unveiled, Undivided, or whatever this game was called, and they put Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Now, I don't know if you know what Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is, but Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is easily one of the biggest fucking cash grab slops that has ever existed. Well, the whole Blue Avatar People franchise is effectively a giant fucking slop fiesta money grab, but, I mean, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is just special. We're talking about a game that has a completely boring and dull story, but boring and dull exploration, like 4 different fucking weapons, and that's it. And this thing costed like $50 or something. It's insane.
Xbox this last week and really the last year, it's just been constant negativity. There's no positivity with any of this stuff. Like, we're having reports from the Xbox One days emerging now saying that Microsoft Xbox was trying to make their own Uncharted for Xbox, but it got canceled. Like I said, there's nothing good coming from this platform right now. There's also the fact that, yeah, Xbox quietly nuked the Game Pass Call of Duty discount. Xbox responded to this. They responded to it, confirming it, and also adding, it's not just Call of Duty, it's all of their games. This is not specific to any one game and reflects all games and DLC purchases. Instead of a discount on the purchases, Ultimate and Premium subscribers will earn 10% and 5% respectively in points when purchasing select games and add-ons from the Game Pass library. And as Kotaku says here, in effect, players can still get the 10% savings on COD points and Black Cell bundles.
But you know what I love about strategies like this? They're like, okay, boys, yes, we removed a couple of things, but you get more points. Now, what can you do with these points? Well, you can do less than ever before. So, there's no real value to these points any longer because the things that people actually want to get for these points are no longer available. So, yeah, the points are useless, pretty much. So, it doesn't really matter if a game is only going to give you points, contributions, or credits, or whatever they like that a lot when you can't actually get anything good from them. That's how these things work.
But it will only be available for subsequent purchases after they've accrued enough rewards to redeem a $5 Xbox gift card. Essentially, they've introduced something, a far worse system. Instead of getting the direct savings immediately there, you have to have enough points that then you can buy their made-up currency. And this is the greed. This is the greed that we're seeing from this company. The desperation reeks right now. And there's also, like I said, many territories that have had these Game Pass Ultimate changes. They're upset because it's not like for us, it's just 50%. In places like Brazil, it's actually going up by about 100%. In many other countries, it's the similar thing because regional pricing is not the same. And this is what I mean. This is why when you have like xCloud being introduced with
Hey, I mean, fuck the ports. That's literally probably what Xbox is thinking. Oh no, that's so sad.
ads, it's like that's the thing you give to the poor people. But then the premium experience, if you want the best of the best, you're going to be paying $30 right now. In a couple of years, it may be 40 to 50 for the best of the best. And it's like you get to put up with the pain of advertisements being played. I think right now they're saying it may be like an hour, so you have to watch a 15-second or so. But like I said, this is where it always starts. There's a starting point, and then things always get far worse. We've seen that especially with all of the subscription services, not just Xbox Game Pass. But Bloomberg really did confirm a lot of the stuff that we thought, the suspicions that we had, and it is, again, that the Activision Blizzard merger truly tanked this company and has really put the pressure on them to deliver. And while the focus has been on the Call of Duty numbers, the fact that, yeah, they lost $300 million in sales last year, and that's why there has been such chaos behind the scenes over there at Xbox and also Microsoft, this was the most compelling part. It was really notable, was the fact that Bloomberg notes Microsoft Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood has asked Xbox to find other ways to increase profit, according to the current and former employees, which is why we're seeing all these layoffs, all of these cancellations, and also the burden being passed on to consumers now with these massive.
That is so wild, by the way. When someone in the C-suite actually just says like, "Hey, can you like stop killing us? Thank you." That's so wild. You know things are bad when someone just speaks out against the hand that feeds it.
Increases coming to Game Pass. And
well, because at this point, it's not the fact that Microsoft feeds Xbox. It's the fact that it's the hand that feeds you, but it's also the hand that's slowly choking you out. And I know women are very into that, obviously. But I'm not.
This reporting isn't actually anything new. This is something that was reported back in July. Xbox reportedly given utterly unrealistic financial target that could continue to hurt the division. I think this rumor, this leak has turned out to be true based on what we're seeing now. And look, Xbox has outlined their future. They've talked about their hardware. This is something that they announced back in June. There was actually even then rumors like, is Xbox even going to do a next generation console? Are they going to go full third party? But no, they announced Xbox and AMD advancing the next generation of gaming together. Sarah Bond, in that video I showed at the beginning, she also said Xbox unveiled that it has entered into a strategic multi-year partnership with AMD to co-engineer silicone across a portfolio of devices, including future.
What the hell does mean co-engineered silicone? What?
First-party consoles and cloud. So for many, this was the confirmation that Xbox has done.
Is this a really fucking stupid but a gigabrain attempt at saying, oh yeah, we're at Xbox, we're gonna help AMD make their processors. Because processors... Oh, I think processors are made of silicone. I think everything's made of silicone. For the transistor thing or whatever. I'm not a black wizard. I'm clearly a white wizard. In any case,
doubling down on consoles, at least for the next generation. So indeed, up to this point in time, we've had rumors, we've had leaks surrounding Xbox's plans about their new hardware for the next generation, including some which said that full next-gen consoles are supposedly targeting 2027, right around the same time frame that PlayStation's also planning their PS6 and their other hardware as well. But there was also the fact that we had other reporting indicating this is not going to be a traditional new console cycle. Xbox is trying new things, and they kind of have to. And it was the fact that even in that AMD announcement, Sarah Bond almost basically admitted that Microsoft might have confirmed Xbox Steam Store rumor with AMD announcement. And yes, it seemingly these new consoles will.
Oh, they don't have this? I thought that they would have had this long ago. Wow. Because, of course, I mean, why wouldn't you put Steam? It offers more stuff. and you can take your percent cut off of it. So, I mean, it's free money.
Will have the Steam store maybe attached in the Epic Games store. It is a competitive advantage, but it just comes back to the fact of what's the point of owning an Xbox console and even this next.
I mean, true, but this doesn't technically diminish the point of owning an Xbox console because there's no point in owning it one already. So, not technically a bad thing, I guess.
Generation when you can just get a PC and you still have access to all of that. And Xbox doesn't really have an answer to that. If anything, they just point to, well, as long as you're part of Game Pass, that means we're winning. And that kind of just shows you how times have changed. This company has realized that consoles, that no longer is their future, and they lost years ago to PlayStation in this regard. So this brings us to this rumor. This is what everybody has been talking about, and this is a report coming from NeoGAF from an insider called Sneakers SO. He has been said to be reliable, and we'll talk a little bit more about his authenticity and some of his past leaks in a second, but this is what he specifically said. Xbox's new hardware is up in the air and may not happen despite their announcements. More retail stores will pull Xbox from sale, and Microsoft is becoming 100% a third-party publisher. So this is what he specifically said. There's been many people editorializing like the Xbox is dead completely, hardware's gone, but it's not exactly what he said.
I mean, it's not gone, but the price increases, okay? This is... We never talked about this, but you cannot increase your prices when you're already fucking failing. Xbox was already failing. PlayStation already had most of the market share. Xbox literally gave up on their stuff. They kind of gave up on their hardware and all of those things to become, you know, everything Xbox, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. So, at this point, when your market presence is diminished already, you can't just increase the prices because you're just diminishing your market prevalence even more. I mean, think back like, I don't know how many years, but think back when people actually were talking about buying a PlayStation or Xbox. What was the deciding factor actually typically for buying a PlayStation or Xbox? It was either, oh my god, this super hot new game is on only this platform. It was kind of a deciding factor for some stuff, but for a lot of people, for all the people that I knew that wanted to buy one or the other, the deciding factor, even for my cousin's kid, who's like, I don't know how old he is, not 18 or anything like that, but even he, but this decision was the same even for him. And, you know, I'm 20 years fucking older than him. The same decision applied to him. When his mom wanted to, you know, buy him a console, she asked me, what is he supposed to get? And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, well, I'm probably getting the stuff that everyone else is playing, where all his friends are already. Because this is a massive deal for for consoles. Are your friends on that console? Do you have friends? And well, if you do, congratulations, you're buying the thing that your friends are using. It's that simple. So, if you're diminishing your user base to get some form of line go up, even if it's more, even if it's fleeting, I mean, you're just fucking yourself literally for. I mean, it's not even in the in the long term, even in the short term, you're like gains are only gonna be like worth for a month or two, and then you're back at square zero where you can't increase your market share because no one wants to have your shit in the first place. Like, it's a horrible decision. It's 100% a losing strategy. Xbox is like doing everything to just kill itself at this point.
So first he says, without going into too much detail, not long after the last round of layoffs, next one should be coming in Q1 of 2026, by the way. The layoffs are only going to continue, unfortunately, and it's going to be just as massive as the last one.
Fortunately, I do not want to see any of these developers working on anything that I like.
Which was thousands lost, thousands of developers gone, and there was mass cancellations alongside that. I assume that we could be seeing that again. Now, some rumblings out of Xbox are starting to come out that were a little hard to believe. The ramifications of the Call of Duty Game Pass gambit not working out were just starting to get properly measured. And I fully believe that Xbox, Microsoft leadership regret putting that and making it that Call of Duty is a Game Pass subscription. It is part of that day one ultimate tier. I genuinely think
we talked about it yesterday. What's the point of putting Call of Duty on Game Pass to increase the amount of people that use Game Pass if everyone already plays Call of Duty with a fucking controller? So, you're not increasing your share of Game Pass users by putting it on Game Pass. You're just killing its sales for free.
that they are very much missing out on those sales, and they're hitting themselves over the head that they attached that. And even then, when they announced it, they were a little hesitant. They're like, yeah, we're thinking about it, we're not entirely sure. And now I think if they could go back, they probably would have never done it. Now he continues saying about the Call of Duty gambit not paying off. The thing that really struck out to me was that suddenly really concrete plans for actual Microsoft Xbox hardware went from being definitive to up in the air, which was really startling given that this thing was meant to be out relatively soon. And this isn't like the first time that we've seen this. A lot of people don't understand that this summer, the ROG Ally X, the handheld device, that wasn't the initial plan. People forget this, but yeah, the Xbox handheld device, they were making their own and it was essentially canceled. This is reporting that came from The Verge citing insiders. So this isn't like the first time this generation that we've seen Xbox abandon plans. Even their own like mid-gen refresh, we have not seen that. And we even saw Phil Spencer kind of mocking the idea of the PlayStation 5 Pro. But ultimately, I think this just really reflects on the questions that surround, does Xbox want to invest in hardware in the future? And it seems like there is a massive debate going on behind the scenes, and I would not be surprised that soon we hear an announcement that they're either scaling back plans or things are just completely done. And
I mean, of course they have to at least scale back plans. Again, you can't be losing market share users and be like, oh, we're gonna go all in on something that's already collapsing. Bro.
they are embracing third party. But it is worth mentioning that he continues saying it was one of those situations where, despite folks being told, hey, we want to pull the trigger on this in 2026, the steps you would need to take in the lead up to delivering a new console gen weren't being met. A lot of things that were sure things started getting pushed. The Costco retailer pulling Xbox, and apparently they are one of the many that we'll learn about soon, told me all I needed to know. And if you don't know what they're referencing, it's specifically the fact that Costco confirmed that it's removed Xbox consoles, calling it a business decision. This is reporting coming from...
Bro, who the fuck buys that Xbox in a Costco in the first place? Again, not American. Maybe that's popular. I don't know, but... I mean, has anyone bought... Seriously, boys, if anyone has bought... Like, this is not even a shame thing. I'm just interested. I mean, no one really cares where you buy your Xbox, but seriously... Would you buy your Xbox in a Costco's? Have you ever done that? Do you know anyone who has done that? I kind of understand that as a thing that happens, like, okay, I want to buy an Xbox, fuck it, and you're like, okay, well, will I buy it with delivery? No, I'm just gonna go to my local kind of grocery store and buy it. I kind of understand it, but I can't imagine that there's a lot of people who buy their Xbox at Costco's. That is wild. It's kind of funny, you know? That's not the place where I would expect things like that to be sold. Well, granted, I can also tell you other unexpected things that are kind of funny. Do you know the most popular Valentine's thing that gets sold in stores? Average grocery store, convenience stores. You probably think it's like chocolates or flowers. Good guess. Good guess. When I heard this one, I guessed the same thing, but needless to say, if it was that obvious, no one would fucking ask this question. Do you want to know what that is? Do you want to know what that is? It's fluffy handcuffs. Yes, it's fluffy fucking handcuffs. By a mile, by the way. By an absolute gigamile, okay? All these kinky toys are actually this thing that sells in supermarkets when it comes Valentine's Day. Kind of funny, in my honest opinion. But hey, good on you. And by the way, boys, remember, like the video, and if you're on a mobile device, hype it up right now, okay, boys? Because it helps me out a lot, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who does it. It takes less than a second, so it's not even a big deal, but it is a big deal to me. It matters for me, so thank you, everyone who does that. And if you think that it's important that people know more about the stuff that we're talking about here, that more people should be aware of these things, then definitely like the video right now or hype it up on a mobile device, because that is gonna make sure that more people know about this. Thank you for everyone. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Destin Legary, who said he talked to Costco about Xbox stock. I was told that they will no longer be carrying Xbox consoles. We don't have any plans going forward to carry an Xbox console, saying it was a business decision. Costco, though, isn't getting out of the console business, as they confirm they still have some great deals on Switch and PlayStation, and online there has been some videos and some screenshots of them really like trying to get rid of the remaining stock that they have of the Xbox Series S and X's. Like, it's down to a couple $100, so looks like they are done.
Wow.
And I think people need to understand, like, Xbox One days were bad, but I don't think people really understand how bad it has gotten this generation. New PS5 versus Xbox sales estimates are probably worse than you'd expect. This is from September of 2024, and just this picture right here shows it from the Wall Street Journal. PlayStation 5.
Oh yeah, we have seen this before. This is fucking destruction.
62 million at the time to Xbox Series X's 28, and then you see the diagram, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and it's a lot closer. That divide has only gotten bigger and bigger. And just to get a little bit more specific about that graph, as it's noted here in the Forbes article, it means that Xbox at the time in September of 2024 was at 45.8.
Oh, and by the way, so what's the reason why PlayStation got ahead? You know, now in the modern day, obviously it's the fact that PlayStation is just a lot less DEI, a lot less ESG score, a lot less woke in general than Xbox. But the truth is, why PlayStation in previous generations got so ahead of Xbox is they just capitalized on Xbox fucking up. Oh, Xbox has a camera that tracks your movement, doesn't have an outer CD, doesn't have this, doesn't have that. Xbox wants you to prevent you from sharing their games. PlayStation didn't have to do anything. PlayStation just had the most giant free advertisement, because they just said, "Oh yeah, the things that people are unhappy with Xbox, yeah, we're just not gonna do that." Remember the share your game on PlayStation bullshit? Yeah. They got so much ahead just because of Xbox's ultimately completely anti-consumer moves. That's it. All Xbox did was become anti-consumer, and PlayStation just took over by being more consumer friendly.
Series X is 28, and then you see the diagram, the PlayStation.
They literally did Valve's patented tactic of do nothing, let the competition shoot themselves in the foot.
4 and Xbox One, and it's a lot closer. That divide has only gotten bigger and bigger. And just to get a little bit more specific about that graph, as it's noted here in the Forbes article, it means that Xbox at the time in September of 2024 was at 45.8% of the sales of the PS5 this generation. In comparison, though, that is a worse ratio than that generation was, last generation of Xbox One PS4, where Xbox had 49% of the sales of the PS4, going in the wrong direction fast. And then even just this last year, PS5 sales are outpacing PS4 in the US. Xbox Series X and S lags well behind the Xbox One. And this is recently. This is from March of 2025. According to the most recent data from Circana, after each platform's first 52 months in the market, PS5 unit sales exceed PS4's sales pace by 7%, while Xbox Series X and S combined now trails Xbox One by 19%. And you have to believe, with all the money that's been invested.
And by the way, also a huge part of this is the fact that I talk about this a lot because no one truly understands on average the deep impact that this had. And this is the fact that was it, I don't remember how many years ago this, but again, I predicted this literally like 4 or 5 years ago. when we actually went a deep analysis on the PlayStation versus Xbox situation, videos that no longer happen here because, who cares? But still, a huge part of why PlayStation is winning is because they had a foothold in Asia. While Xbox was selling literally the grand equivalent of 0 fucking copies in Asia, literally a couple of thousands versus the tens of thousands that the PlayStation was selling, you need to understand that's a whole market. And it's an untapped market because gaming was not really popular in Japan. So when gaming became more popular in Japan, obviously it started skyrocketing. And obviously the thing that skyrocketed was the thing that's popular there, aka PlayStation, not Xbox. So no one wants to, in general, buy a dying brand, support a losing thing. So this was a giant market that Xbox had absolutely, effectively 0 sales in. While PlayStation was just gapping them on global sales because of Japan. It was noticeable. So, again, what do you want to buy? Something that has a console that has 60% of the player base on it? Or 40%? Obviously, people are going to lean towards 60, and that's exactly what happened. The whole debacle of about Xbox and what was the stupid music fucking thing? Sucker Punch, Ground Radio, some that one. That one that sold really good, but the studio got shut down anyway. That one. I forgot what's the name of that garbage. But the point of that is why it got shut down, because it was pointless. That game, that whole game was designed to get Xbox into the Asian market. And it failed. So it doesn't matter if it sold better than expected, a lot better than expected in general. It failed to do the thing that it was supposed to do. So there you go. The studio got shut down. I don't remember. Sucker Punch? Was that the game's name? I don't remember. In any case, easy. And there you go. From that, everything just escalated in the upcoming years.
Xbox, Microsoft leadership have to be kind of horrified by these numbers. And also, that probably explains a lot of the decision making, such as this ad campaign, why they've pushed it so hard, because they realize consoles, that's just not something they're going to make up in the future, no matter what they do. But again, getting back to the Sneakers SO leak, what he said here on the NeoGAF forums, he continued saying, to sum it up, in the future of Xbox is software publishing, which is what Microsoft is known for. They're not really known for being all about hardware. With a significantly honed-in focus on profitable IPs, which we've seen, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Minecraft, Candy Crush, Forza, cloud gaming being the home of the Xbox platform, which they've continued to push, and now they're starting to monetize heavily. Transitioning Game Pass into basically becoming the point of entry subscription for xCloud Access, which we've seen, which will continue to drive its price tag higher, by the way. I fully believe that. They aren't done there just yet either, and releasing their software on any device that has a marketplace and users willing to buy their titles. Maybe some OEM thing will take up the Xbox name, like we've kind of seen with the ROG Ally X and handheld space, maybe on a bigger scale, maybe. But given that it's clearly a...
By the way, just calling your shit the Ally X is a major red flag nowadays. It is what it is. Yeah, it's kind of boring talking about Vogue and stuff, because there's too much of it. But it's still a prevalent thing that ruins our hobbies. It's still a prevalent thing that negatively impacts our lives, games, and, the lives of the people that we love. So, it is kind of boring to talk about it nonstop, but it needs to be mentioned. So, calling your fucking console the Ally, bro, you might as well fucking paint it in rainbow colors. Okay, at this point, that's just something, that's just a red flag. The average normal person is not gonna like that. Anyway, that was Legacy Kill HD, 10 out of 10. Bye!